Hey everybody, welcome back to Travel Trailer Nation. Today we're going to talk about the one thing that hasn't changed in about 100 years on RVs, and that's the steps. So if you have your standard stock steps that come on your travel trailer, what you'll notice right away is that anytime you're moving up and down those steps, you're getting movement. And complicating matters is that the drop to each step is not residential. So it's not 7.5 inches, it's something greater than that. On mine it was 9.5 inches, so that's a pretty steep incline. So why is that important? Well, if you have had issues with your knees or your hips, or like in our case, we have a 13-year-old dog that's starting to have issues with going up and down stairs, and certainly the RV steps are a challenge for her. To stay, tracking straight, because it's a pretty good drop as she goes down. Not to mention the sway. So the great thing about TorkLift is these steps actually have feet that go to the ground. In our case, our trailer, which is an Imagine 2950 RL, came with a 3-step system, which right away I said, boy, I don't understand why they would do 3 steps on a trailer like this. Seems like there should be 4. And so that started me thinking, well, there's a couple options on the market. You can probably get a 4-step model that's similar to what I have in there right now, which that's to me unacceptable. You could get the steps that actually fold up into the chassis, into your doorway. I don't want that because, there's times when we're packing up and it's wet outside, it's been raining, there's gravel, dirt, grass on the steps, and now you're going to have to clean that as you raise it up and put it into the trailer. You're going to have all of that stuff inside, and I'm just not interested in that kind of a mess. Then there's the TorkLift, and they expand, and they store in the same area that your old steps. It's basically pull your old steps out, put the new steps in. It's as simple as that. The whole procedure, about 50 minutes for me, and I used as you'll see, I used my motorcycle lift to actually lower the old steps, which are 4 bolts, and on my trailer they're 14 millimeter, and then it's basically putting in, I believe it was like 5/8 maybe. I'd have to look in the book to see what size they sent. They'll send you 2 different sizes of nuts and bolts, and I did want to use the slightly larger diameter one, but they weren't quite long enough, so I couldn't really get on the thread. So I used the longer ones, and it's perfectly fine, and they're in there very secure. So you'll see, I'll just give you guys an overview as I did it. It's not super in depth, but it'll at least give you a flavor for what it entails. It's very easy. You could do it by yourself, or you could get a friend to help you. But either way, it's very simple and well worth it. And when you walk on those for the first time, you're going to be so glad that you made the change. You'll absolutely love them. All right, guys, this is the TorkLift steps, the 4-step model, and you can see it takes up some space. It's not going to be any larger than the steps you have if you've done your measurements right. The other thing is it's actually pretty light. I mean, considering. It comes in a pretty large box. I think it's probably their generic shipping box because there was quite a bit of headspace in it, but as you can see, it came perfectly packaged. There was no damage at all, and what you do get in the box are a couple different options for mounting the size of the bolts and nuts, and you get obviously an instruction manual that's going to give you a step-by-step on how to do it. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to go outside and pull the old steps, and I'm going to use my motorcycle lift to do it because it's easy to jack up under there, level, support it, pull the 4 bolts that hold it in, which are 14 millimeter on my existing travel trailer, and then I'll lower that unit, and then we'll put this unit in. And so you get to see that when we start on it tomorrow. Okay, here's the 2 bolts that need to come out on each side of the existing steps. And in my case, I have an Imagine 2950 RL, so they are 14 millimeter in my case. I'm sure the sizes will vary depending on what kind of a trailer you have. So I'm going to get this trailer a little bit more level. Then I'm going to slide my motorcycle lift under the steps and to take pressure up off of it, remove the bolts, and then ease the step assembly out, and then I'm going to just reverse the process with the new steps. Okay, one thing I noticed when I was doing this is that I had to lift it just a hair to line up the holes with the bolt holes on the step assembly. And when I did that, lo and behold, I'm actually up off the motorcycle lift at this point, probably by about, I'd say 2 inches. So I can actually remove that now. And then I can go about tightening up the bolts, and then we'll see how it operates. So far, I think I've been working on it for maybe a little over half an hour, so not bad. This is really an engineering marvel. The ability of it to actually condense into smaller spaces is a huge advantage. And if you want to extend it all the way, you just simply lift it and pull. And the pads on the bottom adjust for unlevel surfaces, which give extra stability to the unit. And then when it's time to store it, you simply lift it up, you lock it back, pull the lever, in it goes, and there's a safety pin that you can push through to lock it in place, which I'd recommend just to be safe. But really an amazing piece of equipment. It adds so much stability to the unit that it's unbelievable. I got on the steps and I rocked. I couldn't move the trailer, and the trailer is hooked up to the truck right now, so you can imagine what it would be like if I had all my jack stands down. So really impressive. Can't wait to take it out for the first time and see how it performs. I'm sure it's going to be great. 50 minutes. Unbelievable.